Welcome back to the Outhouse Lounge. I'm Chris Cordani, your host. This is where we relax and talk about, well, you know, I can't really say that on YouTube. They'll be upset. As I said, I'm Chris, your host. With me in the lounge are two fantastic artists who joined forces to form the band Sargent Bellestar. I like that name, Sargent Bellestar. I think you'll understand how it works. Their album, Nothing Stays the Same, is filled with groovin', melodic, rockin', and quite relevant punk music. Welcome to the lounge, Jennie Bellestar and Mat Sargent.
Hi, Chris.
How you doing?
Hi, Chris. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too, and hear you, because we're also on audio and video. You can catch us all around wherever you get your podcasts. Had to stick that in there. I really enjoy this album. I'm going to show it off right now. This is the Sargent Bellestar album. It's Nothing Stays the Same. It's quite cool, melodic, and relevant. You have all the cool stuff, by the way. I like the spirograph on the front here, and thank you for the autographs. Very nice too. And I do have to
Matt's got a story about this spirograph on the front there. You want to hear it?
I want to hear that. Yes, and of course this nifty patch as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we was actually my dad. He's an architect, and he does a lot of precision drawing, and I've got the original picture of that, so we decided to use that as the front cover, and it actually features in the video as well. If you see the video of Help Me, it's actually behind Jennie when she's sitting on the sofa in the video.
I saw that. I was going to mention that, but you beat me to the punch on it. Check out the video for Help Me. It's really cool. By the way, I must say, I wanted to get this. I was going to say this a little bit later on, but since you brought the video up, Jennie, you make a fine news anchor. Mat, you make a stellar weatherman. The mainstream media is missing some serious talent.
Nothing compared to us. Are you kidding me? Yeah. I love all this stuff that Mat was doing on the weather thing. That's the way it should be, you know.
How long before you guys get kicked off mainstream media?
Well, he's not as bad as me, but anyway.
Well, I guess
that's not going to happen now.
It only matters that you look good, I guess, right?
Yeah. For music, yeah.
This is a new project with both of you, but you've done a lot before. Let's talk about your musical history together.
Well, I guess it started on the Ska circuit, didn't it, Jennie? Kind of about '92, we met on the Ska circuit. We used to play a place called the Roby in Finsbury Park.
George Roby.
The George Roby, yeah, and that's where we met.
It was iconic at the time, yeah.
And so we met, and we just kind of clicked straight away, really. And then a few years later, I did a huge project for charity called Sex, Drugs and HIV. And I called Jennie up and asked her to do a track, one of the tracks on the album. So that was our first recording together, 95.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. But prior to that, if you don't mind me stepping in, prior to that, Chris, we had Tread the Boards in the George Roby and I think some other places. And you know how incestuous the music business is. So he knows everybody I know everybody he knows. And didn't you have one of the guys from The Beat playing as a drummer?
Oh, there you
go. Everett Morton, the drummer. Yeah, he was playing in the band that I was playing in called the Pneumatics.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So you had your finger in other pies then, didn't you, as well? Yeah, which were the ska bands. And in fact, wasn't the guy from Baby Shambles in the Pneumatics? Or is that a different band?
That was a bit later. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I remember everything. But so we just in that scene you meet everybody all the time, and so and if you get on with each other, which we did, and then we just grew from there, really, didn't we? I mean, we'd see each other. He did ask me to go on that album, and I wasn't the only person he asked. I mean, there was loads of people on that album, and again, people that we knew from that scene and from Top of the Pops and all kinds of stuff. And then you asked me to do another song, didn't you? With the gypsy something?
The Rock and Roll Gypsies, yeah, the Rock and Roll Gypsies was like a live band that played the songs from the HIV Project live, and we recorded I think 4 tracks with the Rock and Roll Gypsies, which were songs on the album, but we did them gypsy styly. And
right.
Yeah, you came down and sang backing vocals on Easy Target.
That's it. Easy Target. Yeah. No, I love that track. Yeah.
And then of course we did some recording with Para and the Hare Krishnas.
All right, so
that's a good name for a band.
What, Para?
The Hare Krishnas. Yeah, I like that.
Hare Krishnas. Yeah.
Did they all shave their heads?
Well, no, actually, we call the Krishna band. We actually call the Krishna band when we go out, and we have all these different artists on there. It's whoever's available, isn't it? And what we do then, that's the only time we become political, is because obviously we're doing the marches. So
marches up in London, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've had some serious thousands upon thousands of people just following us around like the Pied Piper. It's just been something, isn't it? It's been an incredible experience. We had Linda Lewis. She was with us talking about
that was a big one.
Huh? That was huge, wasn't it?
That was a big one. There was about 100,000 people. It was massive.
And we were the main band. And people were just walking down the street, and the idea being, we've got these like Indian rickshaws, and the drummer sits in the rickshaw, and then Matt with his instrument walks and just walks by the side of it, and somehow he's like hooked up to some kind of amp. I've got a head mic on, and it works really well, and the crowd go ballistic. In fact, I'm actually going to send you a copy of that a bit later. You might want to kind of like insert it into the thing at a later date. But it's on YouTube. It's really good.
I got to listen to a lot more of your music there, Matt, along with obviously when you play with Chelsea, Sham 69, and I'm an 80s guy, but I always pronounce this name terribly. The Splodgen Messabouts. Yeah, there we go. But
it kind of means a big mess all about.
Yeah, I've become a big fan of your bass style, and I got to hear a lot of that in this album. We're going to be talking about that soon. I put you up there with some of my favorite bassists, like Cullen Gregson. All right, there we go. That's a Bad News reference for anybody who doesn't know about Bad News out there. But that's
okay.
Got to stick that in there. But
I've watched that film so many times.
I know, me too. I still think Bad News is better than Spinal Tap. I don't care what anybody says in America. It's just
the first one is brilliant. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So how did you finally decide, hey, let's put an album together?
Well, I think we talked about it for a long time. Since we recorded on the HRV project, we did the song we did was called Private Agenda, and it was just such a lovely song. And we'd always talked about doing an album together, and lockdown was the perfect time. I mean, we had time on our hands. We were all locked down. We couldn't go out, so that's when we started writing. So it was perfect time to do it, really.
The lockdown was bad here, but I heard it was a lot worse in the UK and Australia.
I don't know about that. I mean, I literally didn't leave the house for about 5 months. Literally, wow. Didn't go out at all. So I guess it was that bad all over the place.
Although having said that, yeah, I mean, I didn't realise that you hadn't gone out for 5 months. Matt lives quite far a distance from me, but
the other side of the river.
The other side of the river. That's foreign as far as I'm concerned. Other side of the river. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, for me, cheeky old Jen, our friend Para, who runs Food for All, he called me up. He said, Jen, and he said, what are we going to do? And I said, well, yeah, what are we going to do? The homeless are still out there. They need feeding. What's going to happen to them? So he said, look, Jen, call our mate. We had a friend, right? He was in this late 70s band, punk band called The Vibrators. and he was the lead singer of this band, the Vibrators, and he has a charity shop, a music charity shop, literally around the corner. And I called him up and I said to him, we need your keys. And he said, yeah, you can have them, but what for? I said, they're homeless. Everyone needs feeding. So he came down, passed the keys immediately. And, and that was me getting out on the second day. But when I got out on the second day in London, there was no one around. It was like a ghost town, but still people needed feeding, and they still, some people that found out where we were because we were blaring the music loud enough. They found out where we were and they got fed there. But there were pockets of, places where they were so scared that they kind of stayed in, and that's what they did, It's the fear porn from the newspapers that just got everybody going.
Ah, yes, the fear porn. That's I like that term, by the way, because it just sounds about right. People seem to, it was something to scare people for a long time, the government used, but I do believe people feed off it nowadays. I mean, the regular person, they seem to not be sure of themselves, or not be complete without maybe fearing something they're told to fear anymore these days. Am I off here?
It's become part of the system, really, isn't it? This is why it's good to do music, Chris. This is why we keep our hand in music and put that to the wayside once in a while, and just go, you know what? I think that's what that album was all about, really. In a way, it was just like finding another outlet to, because everything else around us was chaos at the time, in terms of everybody being, locked down and just doing things that they would never have done had they not have been locked down. I've just noticed there's no lights on in here. Can you just, because I'm getting darker and darker.
The night is drawing
it's a bit dark in here. Yeah.
That's okay.
Excuse me a moment. Should I clap as well?
That's okay. Now we're good here. We can actually have you to change the lights, because most people are going to be listening on the audio anyway. So that's good. They're not worried about that. But there we go. But the band, let's put it this way. You guys put this band together, Sargent Bellestar. I do like the name because, and I don't want to show this patch again for those who are watching. Those who are listening aren't going to be able to see this cool patch. It's like you have the three-striped sergeant, like you have in, I guess the three-striped sergeant in America, because it's not pointing down. So it's not the F troop, the cavalry sergeant. And you have the star under that, which is pretty cool, because there is a sergeant major rank here that actually has that with rocking horses on the bottom. I'm yapping up a little bit here, but I like the logo. So the artwork in the logo, very cool. Let's get into the album, though. Songs are quite relevant as to today. Again, a lot of melodic punk. I do want to point out there is a really snazzing reggae tune, groovy, if you will, since I'm wearing the leisure suit for this. But let's go to the first track. Well, the first track you released as a video, "Help Me." It's pretty much telling us what's going on today, and we're getting sick and tired of it. And let me tell you something: we all need some help.
Yeah. I mean, it was we all need some help, especially you, Chris.
No, I know a lot of it.
I mean, it's kind of pretty self-explanatory. You're looking at something on you're fed up of whatever it is you're seeing on the. I mean, what's your take on it, Matt? On that song yourself?
Well, I think it was just, you wrote the lyrics. It's such a dark time during lockdown, and as we were coming out, so there were a lot of things. Dark issues that I think you covered, and that's what I like about it. It's not kind of it's kind of jolly, but in a kind of deep sense. That's kind of what I like. And
black comedy, that's what it is. That was a dark comedy. I can't remember what it's called. That's what it was. There was a name for it, wasn't there? And I think it was something around about that ilk.
Macabre comedy. There we go. I have with me on the Outhouse Lounge Mat Sargent and Jennie Matthias. They are Sargent Bellestar. I enjoyed the video too, and as I said, you cut off to a lot of cool scenarios. Jennie, you played a character who was really just sick and tired, waking up in a room and just like watching these things on television. The news media repeating things back and forth they want you to hear. Look, we get propaganda out of Ukraine. Sometimes you can think the worst stuff comes actually from our mainstream media sources. We say Russian propaganda or foreign propaganda. A lot of the propaganda comes from within, and we are all sick and tired of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Matt was saying. You know, as soon as you put the TV on, it's the same old thing. And after a while, you're just like, you know what? I've had enough. So that's what that kind of like throwing the remote control and like just going out to the park. And then as you're going out into the park, he's reading the paper. It's the same thing on the front news, and you're like, whoa, come on, you know, give us a break here, you know. So it's like a subtle dig to, you know, just give us our lives back and bug off, you know.
But they're not going to do that. Once they push a law in there, once they start giving money away to something, the governments never take it back. And after a while, we're going to be screaming, "Help me!" when this stuff continues.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, what other tracks did you like, Chris?
Well, first, I want to throw a couple more questions about this video. The bass, first of all, pumps here. I want to note that your lyrics and the music and the singing is tells the story absolutely fantastic. Oh, fantastic, like, if you will. That's not even a real word. But Matt, the bass actually does help tell this story as well. You pump through this like it's urgent. The sound, the lyrics reek of urgency, and so does the bass. It works together well.
I like that.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah.
I like that. You probably should listen to it.
Right. And by the way, I do have to ask another question. All right. How good are both of you at chess, and what's your favorite opening? Or what's the opening you normally employ?
Actually,
I'm a Roy Lopez guy.
When we set the chessboard up for the video shoot, and Jennie was saying, "Oh, bloody hell, Matt, I don't know how to play this." I said, "Oh, I'll show you. The horses go 2 up and one to the left or one to the right." And so I was showing her how to play it, and then of course there's the bit where I throw the chess pieces off, and that was about the long and the short of it, really.
I've always loved chess,
and the fact that I won, apparently. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, apparently you did.
I think I did on one occasion, anyway. Yeah.
Well, the guy that knocks the pieces off the board generally is just the upset guy. I've seen that quite a few times. I've never done it. I've never done it. The worst thing I've ever done in chess is like make somebody chase me around to a stalemate until they just can't catch me, and that's a good thing. It's annoying to the opponent, I'll tell you that. But hey, I didn't lose now, did I?
I'm more a backgammon kind of person than myself. I have to tell you the truth.
Well, that's a game I have to learn. I would like to learn that game.
Yeah.
I'm the Monopoly king.
No! I like Monopoly. No. Yeah.
I bet a few Monopoly balls have been thrown in the air.
People tend to try to buy Boardwalk and Park Place, and they just throw all their money at those. And well, people land on this, they're gonna give me a lot of money. Chances are people aren't landing on that. You get the small properties, make people pay every time they walk by. You can get the hotels and everything earlier. And you get those green and yellow properties everybody seems to land on, and the opponents are toast. You don't even have to touch Boardwalk. You know. Or I tend to use the expensive properties for mortgages to pay for hotels somewhere else. But you know what? I'm not a very good player, so I wouldn't take my advice either. Let's get to some of the other great tracks on this album. Nothing Seems the Same. The title track, a lot of the tracks have a great melodic punk sound, but Too Busy, I'll go to the title track later, because Too Busy Thinking brings truth to reggae. That's what I say. Truth to reggae. Nice reggae beat on that one. Kind of take a nice turn on it.
The drummer Steve Granger, that was his first reggae track, so he was really chuffed with it. So there you go. You know, that's his first ever reggae track that he recorded. So we're really pleased with that.
It was one that's been around, and Matt really liked it and said we should do this, and we changed it, and because obviously there has to be a same thread, like sonically sound running through, and I think it works. You know, I'm really happy to have not. You know, when you write a song, you don't want to leave the song on the shelf. So if a friend of yours says, do Jen, I really like that track, this whatever. And then, you add it into the fold, and then, then it becomes our track because it's obviously we're both writing it together. You're talking about the motorbike one, right, Matt? Are we? It's a bit like
revving up inside my head. Yeah,
that's one. Yeah. I can't even remember the lyrics. I thought I need to go get the album myself.
Oh,
that's the trouble when you write with so many people. It's a very
that's one with the bridge where you go talk about the chitty chatty. So that's.
Oh yeah. You see, it's really strange because there's always we were talking about this in the studio, weren't we, Matt? There's always something in a record or a song that someone will like, and everyone will like something different. But I knew that they'd like the chitty chatty.
Oh yeah,
it's just a bit.
We don't like it when we hear other people do it though. The chitty chatty gets annoying when people just keep going on and gets in your ear and they chit chat about everything really silly, or they tell you what they think and they tell you exactly what to think and things like that. All the chitty chatty is really annoying. And by the way, I'm doing that right now, so I'm gonna zip it for a second. Let you guys talk about.
You are the host, Chris. You are supposed to do that, my friend. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Just in case you didn't realize. Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, this is not good. I'm losing it all. Chris Cordani here on the Outhouse Lounge. We have Mat Sargent and Jennie Matthias with me. They are Sargent Bellestar. Let's see. It Doesn't Matter is another good one. I like that one.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
Well, you see, it's kind of got a slightly country feel to that one, isn't it?
Right, I was thinking the same thing, but then I thought, well, wait a minute. You go back into more of a punk. We call it cow punk here, the country punk. But yeah, I do enjoy. I did enjoy the little country twang in the beginning. That was pretty cool. The most poignant lyric in that, and there are plenty of them. They will censor you because they fear you. Let's put that together with "Help Me," because that's what's happening these days. You guys get stuck, and you're hearing all the propaganda coming to you. When you fight back, you guys, and I know you've done protests before, and you've actually spoken back to the government. But Jennie, you've been censored because they do fear you. But that's true. When you speak out, and you they'll try to shut you down as a conspiracy theorist. They'll try to shut you down as somebody who's an ingrate or uppity or whatever else. And when you're right, they'll still suppress it because they're afraid of information coming out there, or even just a second or a different philosophical thought than maybe the norm.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that was it. What's the name of the track again, guys?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, it does matter, but it doesn't matter as the track.
Yeah. It's very strange because when did we write that, Matt? We wrote that how long ago did we write that? Was it 2 years ago?
It's got to be 2 years ago now. Yeah.
And I think Chris, it was a year in the making because of the situation in hand, where we had to, if we weren't locked down, we would have done it a lot quicker. But you had.
Well, we went into lockdown again, didn't we? So we did sessions, and then we had to, because there was restrictions at the studio. So sometimes there was only one person allowed or two people allowed maximum in the studio.
Yeah.
So we'd do so much, and then we'd have to take a break until the restrictions were lifted, and then we carried on with it. So it was broken up into a few sections, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, and the lovely thing was, I don't know, how many English bands out there, Chris, where you are.
I know quite a bit.
Really good friend of ours. Do you ever remember a band called 10-Pole Tudor?
Edward has been on with me several times. I had him on the 80s show at least 3 or 4 times. We play his new stuff. It was great. And I just want to throw this in there about Ed. By the way, great presenter too, by the way. He's great on camera as far as game shows. And he did a Harry Potter movie for that matter, but I believe it was only on DVD, not the actual main movie. I'm going to digress because now you got me talking about him. There's a Norwegian band that does 10-Pole Tudor covers.
Oh, okay.
And, they do. So it's called, I think it was the 10-Pole Tudor Vikings, I think they're called. And Ed actually did an album with them. So we talked about that. He's fantastic.
I'd like to see those. Have you heard of them? No, I did like to see those. Richard, he's our good friend. See, what happened was we went down to the studio and he opens the door and it was Richard. I've known him for years. and I hadn't seen him for years, and it was just like this reunion, wasn't it, Matt, of people, and it was just so nice. And he himself is a very accomplished engineer and everything else. He's a lovely, lovely being. I've known him. He was my label mate in Stiff Records, you know, so I've known him since I was 21, 22. And it was to go back and do that full circle, and then to be the age we are now. He's had children. You know, we've all of us have had a life in between that. To then go back and then have to work on this album with my good friend Matt, and then him. It's just like it was a match made in heaven, wasn't it, Matt?
Great combination, and I love his production. That was, I think that was the 7th album I've recorded with him, because he's such a lovely guy. And we kind of, because we worked, I did the HIV project, finished the HIV project there as well, and we kind of spent so much time in the production that we kind of got this telepathy. We know what each other are thinking, you know. So it just worked. And then when Jennie came, and it was like, hey, you know, I haven't seen you for years, Dick, you know. So that was a lovely moment, you know.
I have to hear the three of you together. I need that. I have to hear that now. Now it's in my head. I have to hear the three of you together. That'll be cool.
I think we've got some clips in the studio, I think.
Well, we should play those. I don't know if we can play them on the lounge because of the copyright thing, but I'm going to have to get a radio show once again, get the music out there. That's what we have to do. Maybe Dawn can play some of that stuff on 365. I've become a fan of her. She's been on the show. I'm a fan of hers as well. Another couple tracks you have, and not all of them are issue charged or politically charged. You have some really neat ones and kind of fun ones. Like I like "Keep on Smiling" because that's a good message too. You gotta smile. You gotta be happy.
No, that's true. Yeah, it's right. No, because obviously I'm going to write political stuff because I do political stuff, you know. But Matt isn't like that. Although you love my lyrics, don't you, Matt? He loves all my lyrics.
Yeah.
He likes all my lyrics, and I like all his playing. And so in that way, it's a match made in heaven. And it's like you said before, Matt. It depends on the mood that you're in when you're given the track. For me, if I hear a driving bass line, that driving bass line is going to probably prompt me to do something political. Where's everybody gone?
Are you on your own now, Jen?
I am. What happened? What happened to you guys?
Oh, nothing. I just for those who are listening.
Was it the perfume I'm wearing?
For those who are listening, I had you on the solo layout just to see because I just thought it would look nice. There we go.
So you've made me lose my thread now, Chris. I am old, you know. I was like, take me away from something for a second, and I've forgotten what I was going to say. Anyway, go on, keep going, everybody.
But yeah, keep on smiling was kind of like I guess the ballad of the album. It was a kind of the ballady track because most of them are quite upbeat, but that was kind of the laid back track.
Yeah.
But we all need to smile. I know we don't like to show ourselves as weak or anything, and we try to make sure we assess threats when we walk down the street or anything else like that. But I believe if people greet each other with a smile more often, we'd have a more polite society. I understand. We can still keep our guard up.
It doesn't cost a penny. I write the lyrics, but it's nice to hear what somebody else gets out of a track. Yeah. And it's never usually what I've written. So you say, so Chris says, keep on smiling. Oh, I really like that because, you know, it's really nice. Everyone should be smiling, this, that, and the other.
Well, that's part of it. I'm just saying, that's not the full crux of the song. Yeah.
No, but I didn't really write the lyrics like that. But I'm smiling. But it is kind of up tempo-ish, don't you think, Matt? A little bit.
Well, like I say, for me, that's the ballad of the album. But it's still up tempo, but it's the slowest BPM on the album.
You see, everybody, they're talking BPM. I'm sorry. over the head.
Beats per minute.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
Even I do that. I'm not a musician like both of you. I'm the radio guy. Although, truth be told, I do know all the language because I did study music when I was younger, and I play all the brass instruments. So,
Right.
which, by the way, I appreciate the real sax and the real horns because that has to stay. Even modern music today has gotten away from that, and that has. I'm going to sound like one of those old guys. Well, these kids don't want to play with the real horns. What are you? We got to always have auto tune and all that. Oh no. Although, if I sound
there was
like
absolutely no auto tune on the vocals at all.
that's right.
No, we don't do that.
Yeah,
no, can't bear it.
The best anti-auto-tune quotes I heard, and I don't remember all of them, but I remember doing an interview with Midge Ure, and he was railing off about auto-tune, how it just killed music. When Cher did it with that song, she did that song "Believe," and she did the auto-tune with it. The reason why it was fun when she did it was because it was rare, and it's a singer with talent. It's supposed to add a little bit to a song to make it more fun or add an effect.
Wasn't it?
It's not supposed to hide lack of talent. Otherwise, I'd be singing.
Yeah, no, you're right. It does hide lack of talent. I've seen it, and then all of a sudden, all the songs sound the same.
That's right.
And I just thought, how sad, because you picked up on a good point. Everything in our album is organic.
Right.
Nearly everything. Is it even the drums, Matt? Am I right to say all the drums?
I mean, I'm quite a purist. I hate drum. I mean, I like drum machines for writing, but when it actually comes to recording them in the studio, you just can't get a decent cymbal sound, for example. It sounds too fake, so you've got to have the real instruments there,
Well, the other thing about that is every human moves at a different pace. Some move as well as others or close to the others, but people move at a different pace. There's a personality in every drummer. Every one of them has something distinct about them, especially the ones that are more well-known because they're considered great drummers, but they drum different ways. They have different speeds. They have different techniques. You can't get that with a drum machine.
Right. Yeah, no, true.
Yeah, you got to have dynamics in there, I think, I mean, even when the drummer's playing along to a click track with the headphones on, it still meanders a little bit because it's kind of live, but the click track's keeping you in time,
And you know what? It's the same thing about rap music. Rap music back in the 80s and some of the 90s, they did have some beats in the background. They didn't overdo it with the beats. They had a real human beatbox. Those guys were the best. I love those guys.
No, that's good. No, that's really good stuff.
Yeah, you have them in Camden, don't you?
I was just about to say that. I saw one the other day. He's absolutely fantastic. I don't know why. They're really good. They sound amazing. And then they do all this other stuff. They bring in the saxes. It's all from their mouth. You're like, where's the instruments? And it's them. I'm just like,
they're fantastic.
So talented.
And
so talented.
There was one comedian, I don't know if he's still around anymore, Michael Winslow. He's an American comedian. He did all sorts of sound effects. If you watch those old Police Academy movies, he's the guy did the helicopter sound, and he did all the bullhorns on that guy. He was fantastic. There are people that those are talents that are extremely rare. And a machine, and again, people sound differently when they do them. A machine cannot produce what a human beatbox or a human drummer or a human guitar player can produce because it's just a uniqueness to each person.
Well, they can't do triplets, like random trip. They can't do anything random. That's the point. True. They can't do anything random. What the best thing about them is they keep a beat. You can't deny.
You can write
they're regulars. Yeah, and that it is really good. Like Mat says, I forgot Mat's name then. My good friend for how many years? I forgot his name. Oops. Anyway, in the meantime, no, that's the good thing about them. They do keep time and they are great for writing songs with. The initial thing, we can get the vibe. But then when you come into a studio, both Matt and I, we write for the Hare Krishna band. And we wrote a fabulous song called Love, Love, Love. And we did it. The drummer, he's got this natural ability to drop something in You'd never get that from a drum machine, you know.
No, you can't. And,
Never get it, 'cause it never
and then
happens.
drummers are different drummer to drummer. When bands switch drummers, you know it. Have you ever noticed that?
Yes, yeah, it kind of changes the whole band, doesn't it? Because,
The
like you
dynamics.
say, all drummers are different, you know. And if you change that one piece of the pie, then it all changes, you know.
That's
It's almost
right.
like having a different band.
With me on the Outhouse Lounge, we're in the Outhouse Lounge, Mat Sargent and Jennie Matthias. They are Sargent Bellestar. The album, by the way, I'm going to hold it up once again. The album is, oh, here, Sargent. I'm going to show that on the bottom here. Nothing Stays the Same. Now, I'm showing it to people on video, but if you're listening on
that's
audio,
our
I
little
will have the
picture,
link to
guys
get
and
this. Yep.
girls. Look at
Oh,
us. Look
if you're
at
doing it,
us.
I'm going to do it as well.
I have it inside,
Aye, aye.
inside right
Woohoo!
here. Yes.
Look at you. Yeah,
And
yeah.
and you will see this very cool design in the video for Help Me, of course, and on the cover of the album. So that's all good. And once again, I want to say thanks for this nifty patch here. I do want to say, and when I have Jennie on, I like to make sure that here's the patch. I like to make sure that I mention Jennie's charities, and you both do a lot of work for Food for All. I know we touched on it beforehand, but let's talk about that and why it's very important to have that, and maybe how some of our audience, whether they're listening or viewing, can help out.
Well, it's a charity that feeds 1,000 people a day. You know,
No, more, Matt.
probably more. Well,
anything from 2,000 to 5,000
well, there you go.
a
It's
day.
you know,
Wow.
Yeah.
and it's just a thing that's been close to our hearts, and we just wanted to do something for that, you know. And the matchless gifts thing as well. That was a way of making money. And me and Jen, like Jennie said, we've been on many of these protest marches, and the Christians come with us and serve food. It's all free for whoever wants it, and they just do such a lovely thing, you know. And so we wanted to help.
And also, we get free food. Ha!
You don't get to. We need charities, but we need charities like Food for All, charities that
we got
directly
it all
feed.
sewn up. We have.
But we all need charities that are regional and they feed people directly. From the money goes. It's easier when there's a smaller group and they can feed people in your area. What really bothers me are our governments. You got the UK and I'm in the US here. The governments are worried about bathrooms and what books children have to read and whatever affirming things and this and that, all this first world stuff. When even in our own countries, there are people starving. There are people who are trying to put food on the table and are unable to. They don't really care about that. They're throwing their money all around the world.
Well, it seems to be globally as well, because it's like always the veterans. The veterans that fought for the countries, they come to our van. They come to the van because they've got nothing. And
this
you
shouldn't
think you're
happen.
a veteran that actually came to this country, and no one's looking out for you. I mean, that's actually quite sad.
And if
you've got families,
right? If you're a bureaucrat pencil pusher who works for the government, you get a pension, you get all sorts of benefits here and there. You're an ex-soldier. You fought for your country. What do you get?
You put your life on the line, and you saw your buddies die. Sorry, but there's something wrong there, you know. But so like what Matt, exactly what Matt says. It's a good charity. It's a small charity, but that charity, Chris, seems to do more than the big charities, because the big charities are given millions and everything else. They don't feed as many people as we do a day. Nowhere near it. Yet we have been going for now 35 years, and we have found that, a niche in the market where we just get free food. We've got, our approach is different. Theirs is all clinical, fundraise. So they're fundraising for all these from all these different places because they've got the money to do the fundraising. Whereas our friend Para, I think Matt will back me up on that. He does do fundraising, but he's so on the ground doing the stuff that he's got the love of the people. He's the people's charity. That's what I would say. I think it's a great way to describe because it all goes to the people.
Yeah.
And what we did.
I mean, he's just out there, isn't he, Jenny? I mean, he goes all over the place. I mean, when he went into he got in the van and he went into the war zone just to serve.
He went to Ukraine straight off the bat. I mean,
and mad, but he did it, and what an amazing thing to do,
And he doesn't hide behind a desk.
No, but he came back. I was in the van yesterday. I went in the van. I was like, "What's that on the wall? It's a bloody bullet hole." And there's not only one, there's about 3 of them. There's a bullet hole. He doesn't really care. He's just like, "Oh, Krishna's going to look after me. I'm good to go. Let's go." And then, and then he raised up like, what is it? Something like 100,000 or something. And he bought them all this equipment. And he called up all these, he's friends with a few pop stars. And Chrissy Hine being one of them. And all these people came to help. And so we get our funding that way, because there are people that really like what Para does. And both Matt and I are the same. Para is a closet pop star. He's the director. He's a closet pop star. And he loves, obviously, me and Matt. And of course,
what's not to love? What's not to love? There we go.
He does. But he's just like, whenever we do one of these events, he's like, "Jen, call Matt up. See if he's available." So and so we'll all go out. If he's available, which more often than not he is, we'll just go out and we play in front of thousands of people, and the people are absolutely going ballistic. I'll send you this CD. Wait till you see it. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Well, I will have to hear that now too. See, more CDs coming from the UK across the pond. That's all good stuff.
Yeah.
I like all sorts of music anyway, so that's a great thing. And no auto-tune, right?
Yeah.
No.
So I'm really glad you like the album. I really am.
This is a great album. And I used to blog when I was doing the Revenge of the 80s show as far as the album reviews, but I like doing them right here in the long form, just talking to you while I review them. That's the way to do it, because when I review them, I give it to you from the perspective of the listener, a radio guy, or somebody who is trying to find something out of a song that you might not have intended to put out there. Then I would like to throw it to you and hear what you think about that as well. So I do like to get your perspective on the perspective of the reviewer, and also get your real thoughts on the full album. I will say that I will ask this question though. We didn't get to go over all the tracks. So is there another, maybe 1 or 2 standout tracks that you think that are that we didn't go over that would be pretty cool for our listeners?
Well, don't we have one coming out in November?
We've got a new one coming out.
October.
Yeah, around Halloween we're going to release the second single, Non-Believer.
Oh, I was actually thinking of Non-Believer just as you were speaking.
Were you really, Chris?
Well, because we're non-believers. And I was thinking I should have gone over that track before.
Yeah.
That's right. No, we are. If you after a while, you just stop it.
You've got the flat earthers, the witches in there. So, do you believe? All right. Are you
everybody, isn't there?
I always thought the flat earthers were a joke group anyway. They're always being taken way too seriously. Everybody knows the earth isn't flat, but it's funny. The world was proven spherical. It's not round, it's spherical by Christopher Columbus and his 4 ships. Can you name all 4 ships that Christopher Columbus used?
No.
The trivia question.
Oh, is it? Oh, no.
The 4 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, but the 4th one is not well known because it fell off the edge of the earth.
Well, to be honest,
yeah.
Well, to be honest, none of it makes sense to me. I don't care. We're on the earth. Who cares? Do I care? There's more things to life than that, and so to care about than that. So right. I'll get to that one when I decide I'm going to care about it.
There you go.
Can I just say something? Did you ask about how we got the name Sargent Bellestar?
I'm going to guess that. I think maybe I didn't, because I know how. I'm pretty sure I figured out how you got it. But let's give it to them. Let's give it to the audience if they're not sure.
Because your viewers don't even know who we are. So, and I used to be in the Belle Stars, right. and his second name is Mat is Sargent, And Matt came up with the name, and I just thought, that's a really good name, Sargent Bellestar. You know, even though I don't really like to use the old 80s name, I just thought, actually, you know what? I'm going to bypass what I don't like because I actually like that together. Sargent Bellestar. Sargent Bellestar. All right, Sarge. You know, I like that. Tony would like that. Tony Schaefer. All right, Sarge, how you doing?
You've always been Jennie Bellestar to me.
I know.
Since I've known you, you've always been Jennie B.
Well, that is on your Facebook page. So if anybody's following Jennie, find her as Jennie Bellestar, but it's really Jennie Matthias in real life.
yeah.
But the other one got censored, isn't it?
Quick question on the on Non-Believer. The video is coming out soon. What might we expect to see, or do you want to keep that a full secret?
Well, it could be a bit of a surprise, but it's not a video. It's an animation.
Oh,
it's still a video.
It counts.
It's
not a video of us two. Although there is a nod, which I found that quite. What's wrong with you, Matt? His son.
What?
His son. Am I not allowed to say that you've got a son?
There we go.
Of course you are, yeah.
His son, Alex, who's amazing, is just such an amazing young man, along with his friend, did both videos. Or at least he did the one that you know. And then, but he did this other one. And he's given a nod, hasn't he? From the other video, from the video you've seen. It's a tiny part of that in the video. I was going around that in a roundabout way, but you know what I'm saying.
It's the only way to go.
And I look really ugly in it. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you now.
Perfect for Halloween.
Oh boy. All right.
Yeah. Oh, that's the excuse, is it? Okay.
The intrigue is there now. Jennie,
Jennie, but it's all right because it's only animation, and it is telling the story. It's like Matt said. Matt says, "Jen, what don't you believe in?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, Father Christmas is this, is that." And I was like, "Oh, that kind of a non-believer." And then, so of course, I would have been there forever. Just
I was going to say that list would be huge.
And then Matt did the rest.
Yeah, the length of that would be like rivaling Enagata Davida. I mean, that's
yeah. So that's how that comes out at the end of the month. But we're going to give the video a shot on the 25th, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're gonna send it to Mike and give it a shot.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. I want to thank both of you for being on with us. Jennie and Matt, thanks for being on the Outhouse Lounge with me. Once again, the album is, I'm going to hold it up again, for the video people. The audio people have to just imagine it. It's Nothing Stays the Same. And wow, it's mirrored here. Oh, that's because I have it upside down. All right. Boy, I'm getting old. That's what it is. Nothing Stays the Same by Sargent Bellestar. You can get the CD, pick it up. I believe Amazon has it, but you can find it in other places too. You can find it streaming and check it out. Again, thanks for being with us. Where can people learn more about you guys on social media, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, we've got a Sargent Bellestar page on Facebook. So yeah, just search for Sargent Bellestar, and we're on there. And the album, the CDs, it's better to get the CD because you have all the lyrics and stuff in there, and that's available from the Plastic Egg Mega Store, which is you get these details to visit the site where you can get the album on the Sargent Bellestar page.
Facebook page, you mean? Facebook page.
Yeah. Facebook.
We're not on Instagram, no?
No, I took myself off that.
Okay.
There's too much of it. Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. Well, they won't put me back on Twitter.
It takes up too much time.
I'm surprised Elon hasn't reinstated you yet. Has he? He hasn't? No. Why?
No, he hasn't, and I don't care. I'm too busy with all this nonsense. You know what I mean?
Too busy.
You know, I've just been commissioned to write something, three projects for the community. Do I have the time to be on Twitter and Instagram? No, I don't.
No.
So I won't be doing that.
All right. Well, once again, thank you for being with us. This is Chris Cordani, and thank you all for listening to us and joining us here in the Outhouse Lounge.